Now, once again, when you're looking at your aquarium, what you're looking at is a perfect example of what your water quality was like last month. Now, if what you're looking at isn't the way you want it, particularly if you're testing the water and you tell me, oh, the water's good, then it never hurts just to bring your water sample in and just get a cross-reference. So if you do a full set of tests yourself and record all your results, then come down and see us at Majestic Aquariums. We can put it through our spin test, which is regularly calibrated. And then we can check that our level is similar to yours and make sure that you're doing the test correctly, because it's very common that people will just get incorrect tests. It might be that they're not shaking the bottle properly before they're doing the test. Could be the tests are starting to go out of date. Could be they're using a dirty test tube. So there's a whole bunch of variables that if you just bring a sample, we'll just check the result that you've got in your test versus the result we get with our test, and that will get us a good idea to make sure that the tests we're doing are actually accurate. So if we wanted to go coral eventually, then we'd be looking for a calcium level of sort of 420, 450. We'd be looking for a KH level of about 8. We'd be looking for a pH level of 8.4. We'd be looking for ammonia and nitrite of 0. We'd be looking for a nitrate level of under 1. We'd be looking for a phosphate level of near 0. And we'd be looking for a magnesium level of around 1300. Now, if you have those levels correct, you'll find your tank will go well. If over time your levels are not quite correct, then with time your tank is going to be not quite correct. The other thing is the ICP test is going to cover all of our trace and minor minerals. So doing an ICP test every now and then would give us a good snapshot to make sure that the combination of trace elements or water changes or whatever we're doing is actually sufficient. And the ICP test is a great way of identifying things that maybe you don't know that you don't know. So we might find that something's gone out of whack. And once again, all these things are minor issues, which means that probably nothing is going to happen when you fix it. But if you don't fix it, over a long, long time, there'll be a cost. So basically, at the end of the day, you want to learn to trust your tests. You don't trust your eyes. It's very common that someone will say, oh, I can tell when my fish are not right. I'm like, no, you can't. You can tell if they're about to die. Because fish have got an unbelievable immune system, and the fish actually prioritize looking good. So therefore, a fish can be in terrible condition and it will still look good enough to trick the other fish. Because as soon as a fish starts to look sick, the other fish will actively kill it. Because what they don't want is Mr. Foxface here to have a disease, and then for him to have the time for those disease to manifest and potentially make the other fish sick. So the fish actively kill the sick fish. And if the fish are capable of tricking each other, then I promise you they could trick you. So the idea with the aquarium is trust your tests, get yourself a testing routine, and then just know that if anything major goes out, your pH is wrong, temperature's wrong, salt level's wrong, then you've got a major problem. If anything minor is wrong, then it can take a long time for those things to manifest. So like you might go to the doctor and the doctor might say, hey, you got high cholesterol, and you might go, oh, well, I'm all right, whatever. And you are all right, but then in years to come, then you may end up with heart disease or some other sort of problem as a result of the fact that you decided that it's okay to have high cholesterol. But there's always a cost. And the question is, when do you pay the cost and what's the cost? So if you aim to have fish that survive, then none of this stuff is a major concern. But if you want fish that thrive and you want to end up with a coral reef tank that thrives, then these little details are things to get interested in. Because people come in and they see my display tank and they say, that is so amazing. And the corals are just off their head and they're so colourful and they're growing so fast. And that's because detail is taken attention to. And if you aim to have these animals thrive, because once again, if you put a coral in your aquarium it should outlive you. Corals live for a very, very long time. And corals don't want to die. They only die for two reasons. They only die because there's too much of something or not enough of something. There's too much light, there's not enough light. There's too much flow, there's not enough flow. There's too much nutrients, there's not enough nutrients. So if you test your water and you aim for good water quality, then you will be in a position to allow your animals to absolutely thrive. And if you have a coral and it's not thriving, then you have to consider that maybe there's something that you don't know, and maybe you need to be picking someone's brain. Maybe you need to try something. But ultimately giving these animals the opportunity to absolutely thrive, whether that means getting a consultant like me to come and have a look, whether that means you get on the internet and do a bit of research yourself, but just consider that every animal that you put in there needs the opportunity to thrive. And be aware that some animals are much harder to keep than others. So when you buy a fish or a coral, we recommend asking if it's a 1, 2 or 3. Show us a video of your tank running. Let us have a good look. Bring us in a water sample so we can check your water. And then when we sell you a fish like an Anthias, we'll tell you this is a number 3, which means they're not that easy to keep. So if you're prepared to do what you've got to do to keep it alive, that's cool. But don't be disappointed if it dies, because they're not that easy. On the other hand, something like a pajama cardinal, they're very easy. They'll breed like crazy and they'll live like crazy. So this is a very easy animal. Call that a number 1. And then something like chromis, I'll probably call that a number 2, because they're a little bit hit or miss. Also, the chromis are a little bit skinny. They need a little bit more food. So the mindset of an aquarium that thrives is the key. And the key is to enjoy learning about your tank. So our YouTube channel, Majestic Aquariums TV, is designed for you to go on there, and in the search bar you could write anything you want. It'll come up with videos and teaches you about it. And it's good just to occasionally watch some of the various videos, because most of the videos are just about various people's experiences, and so you get to learn from other people's experiences. And if you enjoy learning, you enjoy watching a few videos, you enjoy asking questions, then you really can't go wrong. But once again, this hobby is really for people to enjoy, and the main part to enjoy is learning about it. Learning about how the ecosystem works, how does the equipment work, how does it all interrelate, and watch a few videos, ask a few questions, and the solutions are always there. You've just got to be in an inquiry.